Good evening, I'm Shane Jones, leading the CBC Evening News at 7. Barbados' reputation as a tourism destination has been enhanced through the presence of the Hilton Hotel. Prime Minister Frundle Stewart says the property remains a source of great pride since its entry and is today an admirable showpiece. He made the revelation in Parliament during debate on a resolution for the borrowing by Needham's Point Holdings of $12 million to assist with renovations.
Very attractive property and continues to render very great service to Barbados. To have won the Hemispheric Awards, which it has won, and to be the kind of showpiece that has been certainly done great credit to Barbados and justifies the foresight that Mr. Crawford showed in the 1960s when he decided that he was going to pursue the establishment of a Hilton Hotel here in Barbados.
Prime Minister Stewart also responded to concerns raised by former Prime Minister Owen Arthur, who warned about the economic impact of government guarantees and incentives for commercial ventures.
This is a culture that is deep-rooted, and 50 years of nationhood in the life of any country is still a very short time. Even in the richest country in the world, the United States of America, we're not talking here corporate paternalism in the same sense in which we're talking it, but we came into contact recently with the expression too big to fail. And it all ends back up with the taxpayer and the state.
Well, as we were just telling you, Barbados is being warned about the economic impact of government guarantees and incentives for commercial ventures. The former Prime Minister Owen Arthur says these are contributing to the debt crisis experienced by many Caribbean countries. He says while he will not oppose the move to assist with Hilton's renovations, private enterprises should no longer be allowed to believe governments have to guarantee every commercial investment.
If you're going to get out of our current economic problems, you're going to have to, at some stage, to reach a point where commercial investments stand on the strength of their own intrinsic logic. The world must go forward that the government is not in a position to guarantee everything. The government is not in a position also to indulge in what I call corporate paternalism, to grant massive incentives every time there has to be an investment in our country. Investments here as elsewhere must come more and more to stand on people taking risks and getting profit as a return for taking risks.
Well, government will in fact guarantee the $12 million to be borrowed from First Citizens Bank for renovations of the Hilton Barbados Hotel. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair moved the passing of a resolution in Parliament to approve the guarantee of payment of the principal sum. Minister Sinclair says the total cost of the renovations is $22 million, of which the parent company already had $10 million in a special fund.
These resources are going towards continuing to ensure that an excellent asset that we have at Needham's in our most critical industry in Barbados, in tourism, and that employs several persons, that is at the asset itself, so-called the Hilton Hotel, that work can continue into the future and that the value of the property can be maintained. Absolutely important, because the value of the property now is substantially more than it was when it was constructed. And as you know how these things depreciate, sometimes it is very difficult to maintain that type of value. So we're happy that we can do this morning to assist the Hilton Hotel.
Minister Sinclair says the contractual agreement with Needham's Point requires that there is continuous maintenance of the property, and there is also provision for a major upgrade. He says this is absolutely necessary for properties in the vital tourism sector.
We have seen and know all too well, not only in the recent past, but from before, that several hotel properties, several accommodation properties, that several properties generally even outside of hospitality, have suffered from this particular poison of having been constructed but not being maintained. And it's an unfortunate practice that has seeped into our development culture, where we produce and celebrate great edifices, great buildings and structures, but then have a significant challenge maintaining them to the standard required.
Well, Tourism Minister Richard Seeley says the Hilton continues to make money for the government. He says for 2016, the Hilton made a profit of $2.4 million, an increase of 56% over last year.
It is registering profit. It is a government-owned entity that is not costing the government, the people, the taxpayers a red cent. Far from that, it is earning for us. And therefore, it is in that context that we have to, that the financing was easy to access. It is in that context that we have to continue to preserve and protect the asset. And therefore, this refurbishment program that has been skillfully scheduled to occur over a period of time such that the operations can continue. You have to close down the hotel and fix it. We phased it over a period of time with the appropriate hoarding that naturally guest comfort and so can still be assured that we can continue to do it.
Minister Seeley says the majority of the work has been done over the summer months. In the summer of 2015, 115 rooms were renovated. This year, 139 were completed, and the remainder should be finished next summer. Opposition St. Michael's Southeast MP Santia Bradshaw is asking government to follow through on financial promises made to local hoteliers. While supporting government's move to assist the Hilton, she says government must also ensure it does not neglect other hotels.
I think it would be important in this debate, certainly to hear from this administration, what is the status of those loans? Are the hoteliers accessing them? Are there difficulties with accessing them? Are they too going to be in a position where they are on equal footing with the Hilton Hotel over the course of the next few years? Or are we going to find a situation where there's a significant imbalance in terms of one hotel having a serious injection whilst others are still struggling to maintain and to have a consistent approach to the hotel plans of Barbados?
An opposition member of parliament is questioning why financial institutions cannot give loans to profitable statutory entities without a guarantee from government. MP for St. George North, Glenn Clark, says this is something which needs to be seriously looked at.
I believe, sir, that because you need to understand that the nature of the financial institution, they don't take risk. They encourage people to learn to save, but not to take risks, so that the agriculture sector, so that the tourism sector and all the other sectors, Mr. Speaker, must go on their own unless government give a guarantee. And I believe we have to look at that very carefully. It is important for us to have these letters of comfort from time to time. I understand, for example, I believe letters of comfort should only be given to institutions that may fail. National Housing Corporation, those institutions that have a social dimension to it.
Government expects to receive a report on the South Coast sewage problems soon. Health Minister John Boyce says the technical team is about to table its first substantial report on its solutions and recommendations. He says the situation is receiving the highest possible priority.
I'm fairly comfortable. I'm comfortable in my mind that action is being taken in terms of procurement of the spares and the equipment required to carry out the immediate repair to the equipment at the South Coast Sewage Project, so that that plant can be fully operational. To reflect on the fact that it may not have been the best designed sewage plant in the world, though it might be true, would not do anything for the residents. It will not do anything for us as a country. But we have, therefore, sir, to bite the bullet and carry out the repairs at the plant. But at the same time, we need to be sure that we do not mislead the public.
Minister Boyce is also the Member of Parliament for Christchurch South, which is the area that is affected. He says the management of effluent is a problem countries across the world face periodically.
When the Bridgetown Sewage Project failed or was not operating at optimum during the years 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, a lot of the majority of the effluent was taken to an already stretched South Coast Sewage Project. And internally, I mean, these are the realities. So we must not curse our country. We must not curse our country when we have to manage these kinds of crises. And certainly, I am with the opposition of the view, yes, we need to manage this crisis. We need to bring our people on board in terms of the messaging and what we can expect.
Okay, we'll take a short break here and come back with more news.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153# to sign up to Digicel today.
What's your idea of holiday happiness?
Watching the kids open presents. Preparing for a new arrival.
The look on his face. Add to your holiday happiness with a Scotia Plan loan from Scotiabank. You could win cash and more. Get your loan today at your nearest branch. Conditions apply.
Organ transplants should be a more frequent option for patients with kidney and other health challenges. This from Health Minister John Boyce, as the artificial kidney unit at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital was renamed to recognize the work of a pioneer in the field. Lisa Broom tells us more.
For many years, Professor George Nicholson worked in this unit, the artificial kidney dialysis unit, to provide a critically needed service to people. And this morning, in recognition to his contribution, the unit was renamed in his honor. Professor Nicholson's widow, Giselle, accompanied by 2 of their children, revealed the plaque renaming the unit the Professor George Nicholson Artificial Kidney Dialysis Unit, where close to 200 people are treated. The other 3 of Professor Nicholson's children joined an earlier press conference via Skype. The eldest, George Jr., thanked the hospital for recognizing their father's hard work.
The lengths that he went to form the artificial kidney unit, his passion for the treatment of renal disease throughout the Caribbean, and his insistence that his work be carried on were typical of my father.
And Health Minister John Boyce says while dialysis treatment is critical, with the rising number of chronic non-communicable diseases, all other options for treating people with renal failure have to be considered, including kidney transplants.
We have, in Barbados so far, been relatively successful with our program on blood donations. We continue to encourage our population to participate in this important program because we never know whose turn it will be next.
According to consultant nephrologist here at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Dr. Lisa Bell, 190 people are currently on hemodialysis here. In addition to that, 36 have been outsourced to a service SILS in Belleville, and another 16 are expected to be accommodated at the David Thompson Health and Social Services Complex in St. John. In addition to that, another 58 are on peritoneal dialysis, and we know that with the chronic non-communicable diseases rising constantly in Barbados, providing hemodialysis will continue to have its challenges. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
Thanks, Lisa. Breast cancer remains the most common cause of death from cancer among Barbadian women. In fact, it claims the lives of almost 52 women each year. This disclosure from Dr. Shirley Hanuman Jagru as she addressed sponsors and organizers of the recently held Walk for the Cure at Sandals, Barbados.
Unfortunately, the incidence, that is, the number of new cases of breast cancer being diagnosed in our society, follows the global pattern of increasing in numbers yearly, with an increase in the number of younger women, that is, women below the age of 50. It used to be thought, breast cancer was thought of as a postmenopausal women disease. Now this is no longer so, because we see women even in their 20s being diagnosed with breast cancer.
One of the walk's major sponsors this year was the local Sandals Resort, and General Manager Ferry Siefinger pledged the resort's continued support to the cause.
This year, it was the first year that Sandals Barbados participated in the Walk for Cure event, but Sandals Resorts International has been a regional sponsor from inception, and we will continue to be a partner for this worthwhile charity in the coming years.
Markson Hill of CIBC First Caribbean says over 20,000 people took part in this year's walk. He also announced that they were able to reach their target and presented Dr. Jagru with a check for $230,000.
This year, as Deborah mentioned, we had set an ambitious target of raising US $500,000. And ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. And I'm extremely pleased and thank to everyone.
The Barbados music fraternity is in mourning after the passing of one of its brightest stars. Veteran entertainer and Opal's band member Clarence Thompson passed away recently in his home at 71 years old. I spoke with his longtime friend Colin Spencer today.
My true love was true.
The man with the silky voice will be dearly missed.
A musical icon, a legend of Barbadian entertainment has passed on. I am hoping that the guys, all of those who came through the ranks with him, the early days on the hotel circuit and at the various venues around Barbados, that they will pay him the respect that is deserved, that he earned as an entertainer.
Clarence Thompson was on the entertainment scene for almost 50 years and has left a lasting memory.
Sang with a number of bands, including the Opals, was organization. He is, Clarence would, however you look at it, Clarence was a legend, an icon in Barbadian entertainment. As a singer, as a performer, band leader, composer, he was great. For me personally, Clarence had the best voice of any Barbadian singer.
Spencer remembered him as one of the early local superstars.
Clarence had a big following, and I mean, looks, voice, dressing, stage presence, stage performance, Clarence had it all. Clarence's legacy would be in the songs that he recorded, the spooge, the ballads. He has Christmas songs as well. So his legacy would have to be in terms of his recordings, what you can still hear about him.
May he rest in peace. Still to come, a look at stories from across our region, but before we get there, here's a tip from Coverley Medical Center.